Hey everyone, it's Mara. I'm just doing an update, a real quick one since I had an appointment um, yesterday. Sorry, for some reason couldn't remember what I was doing. Um, so yesterday was a really big appointment because we lost our first twin Siobhan at 20 weeks and 4 days. We knew it 3 days, but she was actually born the next day. So yesterday was 20 weeks and 3 days for us for this pregnancy, and we had a cervical length check yesterday with our maternal fetal specialist. So we went in really nervous, even though I feel fine. There's no issues. I felt, gosh, knock on wood, I really have had absolutely no issues whatsoever. No cramps, no bleeding, no contractions, no hardly any pressure. I had pressure like once for like a day and a half, and they think that maybe I passed like a small stone because it's never came back. I've never had any pressure since then. So literally, I've had the most uneventful pregnancy physically. Emotionally, it's a whole nother thing. But physically, nothing. So we were nervous about the appointment, but we had no reason to really be nervous. You know, it was just the timing, the day, the 20 weeks, 3 days thing. So we wanted to go in and we wanted everything to look wonderful. So we went in, we had to finish our anatomy scan. I think I mentioned this last time that we did the anatomy scan, and our little bundle of joy was not cooperating at all. So we had to skip a good chunk of the measurements because we just couldn't get him to do what he needed to do. So we went in and we were going to do a cervical check and the rest of his anatomy scan. So we did the anatomy scan first, and she just took a little peek at my cervix through, because she had the probe on top of my belly, where when you do a cervical length check, it's the transvaginal one, so it has to go in. So she did the one on top of my belly first, and to do the rest of the anatomy scan. Which I could see why that would make more sense to use that one, because you can go like all the way around the belly to try to get what you need. Where if you're doing the transvaginal, there's only so much you can twist that wand, and you may not be able to quite get certain angles and stuff like that. Plus, our bundle of joy was not being cooperative again, so she was able to take the probe and kind of push and bounce a little to try to shake him up so that he would move around and give her what she wanted. So the anatomy scan went perfect. No issues again. I mean, we feel so lucky and so blessed because his heart is fine, his brain is fine, his face and all of that is developed properly. His bones and the length of his bones and the size of his head. I'm trying to think all the things, bladder, all the organs, his placenta is good, his cord is good, all of those pieces are good, the blood is flowing properly from the heart, from the brain, from the cord, all of this is just perfect, which makes us feel a lot better. I mean, with our first babies, it was the same thing. There was nothing wrong with them. Everything was perfect. It was just my incompetent cervix. That is why we lost them. So we feel really good that this baby is equally healthy. There's no issues. He looks great. He looks great. So she measured this after she did the anatomy scan. Everything looked good. She went ahead and measured the cervix, and it's fine. It's. I mean, I say this as a relief. I mean, it's fine. Our last measurement when we went in was 4.67. And it was the same, so there was no changes. So that's a beautiful, beautiful measurement. It was closed. There was no funneling. She even pushed on him a little bit to try to see if it would cause any stress on the cervix. Nothing. It's really good. It's really good. So, as I'm saying this, I get emotional because I feel bad for her twins. And It's bittersweet because I'm really, really happy that everything's going so well for this baby. But I feel really bad for the twins because it didn't go well for them. And so, sorry. So right now, we have nothing to worry about. I mean, we have like every appointment that goes well, we're like one step closer to bringing a baby home, you know, and that seems so. I don't think people take that for granted, you know, that when you get pregnant, you don't always bring a baby home. And even still, we aren't even taking that for granted. We're not really counting this chicken until he's hatched because we just don't know. We know, even though everything's going great right now, we now know all the terrible things that could possibly happen and why babies don't come home. So we're still a little nervous, but every appointment it just gets better and better. You know, we just get more hopeful. And that's okay. You know, I think hope is important, and he just kicked me. Sorry. I think hope is important to have so that you're not miserable all the time, you know? And I feel like it's easy to be miserable all the time when you're going through a pregnancy after a loss. It's easy to just dwell on the bad or the sad or get too anxious or any of those things. I just think it's very normal. So I've been trying really hard to be hopeful. My husband's having a little more issues with that, but in general, I feel like I'm doing well. I feel like I'm doing well emotionally. So yes, everything's good. That's the good news. I have some pictures. I'm gonna try to show them to you. He wasn't cooperating. I mentioned that earlier, but finally towards the end, he was giving us some face. Thankfully, he's still a boy, so I won't show you his little body parts there. But here's some feet. You can see the little feet are together. Sorry, there's a glare. There's a couple feet together. Here's a profile picture of him, looking very cute. And then he moved enough that she could get a 4D, I think that's what it is, 4D ultrasound on him and get a picture of his little face. Sorry, let me find one that's a good one here. My husband likes this one because it looks like because our baby's a gangster, of course. He's flashing little gang signs. I don't know if you see his little hand up on his head. I said, really? Our baby's a gangster? It's not even possible. So silly. But this is my favorite because it looks like he's smiling. I'm sure he was smiling. You know, he's a baby. He has nothing to worry about. So his hands are still up on his head like this, but he's got a little smile on his face. So let's see here. Oops, did I lose it? There it is. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry about the glare. Shiny in this room. Anyhow. So yeah, he's looking good. He weighs, she says, by the looks of it, it looks like he weighs about 13 ounces. So so he's right on track. I'm trying to say target. So he's right on target. All of his measurements were right on target. So he's measuring, he's actually, sorry, a little above target. He's measuring 20 weeks and 6 days. That does not surprise me. Both of our babies were always measuring just a smidge ahead before, and then when Ronan was born, Siobhan was born, and she was pretty much at whatever size she needed to be at that age. I've looked at the measurements before, but I don't have them at the top of my head. So she was just right on track. And she's a girl baby, so I mean, I'm not being sexist by any means, but you know, girl babies can tend to be a little bit smaller. And boy babies can tend to be a little bit bigger. And then my husband is, in general, a bigger guy, so it's no surprise that our children, our sons, may be a little bit bigger. So Ronan, when he was born, he was quite large for his size. He already weighed a pound. He was 22 weeks and 2 days. He already weighed a pound. He was beautiful. He was so plump, and he had gotten quite a bit of fat on him. So, oh, love that little baby face. So he had already grown quite large, and like I said, she was right on track. Again, she had gotten quite a bit of fat on her, you know, fatten her up. It was right at size, and Ronan was bigger than normal. Both had big feet, so I love it because I have big feet. My husband has big feet, so we expect it. So this baby right now, he's measuring just a smidge ahead by a couple days. And I think that's wonderful because that sounds about right. He's probably going to be big like his daddy. So that's it. I've tried to find some new channels, and someone suggested a new channel to me, so I went ahead and followed that one. So I needed more videos to watch. I only have one person that I'm watching now, so it's not much at all. So I'm definitely following that new person that was suggested to me. Again, I think I've mentioned this before, if you know any other channels that I can follow, I'm looking at like pregnancy after loss videos, maybe TAC people, if you know any other TAC people. Let's see, because I know at least one TAC person I follow. She doesn't post a lot of videos, but I know her. Pregnancy after loss, TAC, incompetent cervix, any of those things, those would definitely be a good interest for me. Things I'd like to see and stuff. So that's it. So I hope everybody's doing well. I'm not going to update for a little while because I don't have an appointment for another 2 weeks, unless something exciting happens, and I don't really want anything exciting to happen. I just want it to be quiet and boring and all of that. So I hope everybody's doing well.